Hi, everybody. Welcome to the next video in our series about your federal employee benefits. Today, I'm going to cover a little bit about FEHB and Medicare and how those two interact with each other once you're old enough to be eligible for both. Okay? Now, for 2023, these are the deductibles and the premium costs for Medicare Part B. Part A does not have a premium attached to it because that's what you've been paying in your payroll taxes all these years. If you're still working and you're over the age of 65, you do not have to elect Medicare Part B until you retire. You can elect Medicare Part A at age 65. The caveat with that is that if you are on Medicare Part A, it's only going to kick in if you're hospitalized for any reason. When you're hospitalized and on Medicare A, even if you're still working, Medicare Part A is going to be the primary insured and your FEHB is going to function like your Medicare supplement. But again, I'm going to say this again. You do not need to take Medicare Part B until you've retired, and you're going to have a 9-month window around when you retire to enroll without any kind of penalty. The 4 months before you retire, the month in which you retire, and the 4 months after you retire are that eligibility window. If you don't enroll during that time, you're going to pay a 10% penalty per year for every year that you were eligible and did not enroll, meaning that they're going to increase your premium 10% per year permanently. So this year, the monthly premium, unless you're over a certain income threshold, is $164.90. They would add $16.49 for every year that you were eligible but hadn't participated when you finally do enroll, okay? When you have FEHB and you've retired, you've got several choices that you can do. You can enroll in both Medicare Parts A and B and keep your federal health employee benefits. This one is the route that I recommend with most of my clients. Why? Because your federal employee health and benefits, FEHB, is going to function like a Medicare supplement would. You're going to be paying the same premiums for FEHB in retirement as you're paying while you're working. The government's going to keep paying the portion of it that they've always paid. You're only going to get an increase in premium when they're raising premiums across the board. At first, that might look like it's a little bit more expensive than a Medicare supplement, but here's a little secret about Medicare supplements that most people don't talk about. The older you are, the more expensive that supplement is going to get. And over time, your FEHB is actually going to end up being less expensive. You don't have to enroll in Medicare Part B because you're carrying FEHB. They can't force you to, but understand that some things that Medicare Part B covers, FEHB does not. Things like durable medical equipment or a short-term stay in a rehab facility, okay? If you're really tapped for cash, you can consider enrolling in Medicare Part C, which is a Medicare Advantage plan. Technically, that's going to take you off of FEHB and off of Medicare, and a private insurance company is going to step in and assume the liability for your health coverage. Medicare Part C is the only option that you can take to disenroll in FEHB that would allow you to re-enroll at the next open season if you decide it's not for you. If you decide to cancel your FEHB and enroll in a traditional Medicare supplement, you can never go back to FEHB, okay? Some of you are wondering why you would enroll in Medicare, and this covers some of those topics. Medicare, like I said, is going to cover some services and supplies that FEHB doesn't cover. Orthopedic devices, home health care, some medical supplies. Your FEHB is also going to cover things like prescription drugs. So even though somebody might tell you, or you see a commercial on TV that says that you need to enroll in Medicare Part D, as a federal employee carrying FEHB, you don't. because there's another premium for the Medicare Part D. And if you have a higher income in retirement and exceed a certain income threshold, your Medicare Part B and Part D premiums are going to be a little bit higher than the ones I've shown you in this slideshow. The fee-for-service plans that you can enroll in through FEHB, Blue Cross Blue Shield, GEHA, a couple of other ones, are going to waive most of your deductibles, your copays, and your co-insurance. When you're combining those coverages, you're actually going to get better benefits. And on the Blue Cross Blue Shield side, you're still going to have 3 plans that you can choose from. Take a look at this screen and take a look at this, guys. Almost everything is going to be waived: co-insurances, co-payments, and deductibles. The only things that you're going to have to potentially pay a co-payment for is if you exceed a certain number of chiropractic or physical therapy visits. The numbers of those visits vary based on whether you're on standard, basic, or the FEP Blue Focus plan. Okay? Just to recap a little bit, join Medicare. If you can get Part A for free, go ahead and take it. If you're watching this in your CSRS or you don't have 40 qualifying quarters to be eligible for Social Security, you are going to have to pay a premium for Part A. I have a client that we figured out it was actually better for him to go back and work part-time for a couple of years, and then his Part A is going to be covered, and he's going to also be eligible for Social Security. FEHB can't force you to take Part B, but they do make it pretty attractive by waiving a lot of those co-payments, co-insurances, and deductibles. You're going to want to sign up for Part A as soon as you're eligible, or in that general enrollment period. General enrollment period is January 1st to March 31st of each year. The catch 65 is, remember, I talked about that 10% penalty for every 12 months you could have had Medicare Part B, but elected not to cover it. And again, gonna say this again, if you're 65 or older and still working, you don't need to enroll in Medicare Part B until you retire. For those of you that have hopped in this series somewhere in the middle and not at the very beginning, my name is Barbara Gulin. I am an investment advisor representative, a fiduciary who works for an independent registered investment advisor. If you want to know why my heart is to help federal employees and help them figure out their retirement, go back to the first video in this series. I'm going to tell you the story about my dad, who was a federal employee and may or may not have gotten the best advice when it came to retirement and what he did with all of his federal benefits. If you've stumbled on us and you haven't been a part of this video series and you've got questions about FEHB and Medicare, TSP, how your pension is calculated, when you're eligible for your pension, or if you happen to be a law enforcement officer or air traffic controller and have those special circumstances, I invite you to click the link to our confidential evaluation form down below. That form is going to come straight to us, and we're not going to sell your information to anybody. We are, however, going to reach out to you and schedule a complimentary consultation to help answer your questions and make sure that you understand how all of your federal benefits work together for you to have a successful retirement. Something else I want to offer you, if you haven't filled out an evaluation form in the past, filling out that evaluation form, I'm going to send you a couple of free gifts. The first one is this book that I've designed that's called When I Die, Look Here First. It's going to have information in there to help if you pass away, either unexpectedly or after you've lived a long and successful life, help your family navigate some of the waters. There's things in there like a password journal, place for you to list out your doctors and the other professionals that you're working with so they know how to contact them. A place to record your investments and your debts, even a place to document where your safety deposit box is located, because bigger banks have multiple branches and people might not know where your safety deposit box is. The second half of the book is a set of journaling prompts so that you can tell future generations in your own handwriting and in your own voice what life was like when you were growing up and what was important to you at that age. As I've said before, I'm 52, going to be 53 here in a few months. My paternal grandmother passed away when I was 19 years old, and the questions that I have now to ask her that I didn't even think of or know existed back then breaks my heart that I'll never be able to ask her those questions. The second gift I have for you is a code for you to unlock this movie called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. If you're concerned about taxes in retirement, or you're worried that taxes are going to take your whole nest egg away, this is a movie you need to watch. I could go on and on about it, but I'm going to ask you to hang out for a couple more minutes and watch the trailer. We're looking forward to helping you and making sure that you retire successfully. Have a great day.
Counting on a pension being there when you retire, you should be aware that there are consultant corporations are busy hiring to figure out how to screw you out of your pension benefit. And that's what's happening across the world right now.
And it's scandalous, and it's creepy.
Everybody seems to like a pension. If you doubt that, try taking it away from them and you'll see how people react.
Those are a risky type of retirement plan to operate because you don't have a lot of certainty today about what your obligations will be in the future.
Well, most people refer to me as the father of 401k because I got Internal Revenue approval of the first 401k savings plan.
I don't want to do what my father's family did. I don't want to do that.
I know lots of people who have a 401k and it works really well.
When the dot-com bubble burst, my 401k became a 201k. I did not know that you could lose money in a 401k.
I'm ready to retire. We have all of our money and then the crash happens.
The reality is that you chose the risk-based option where money was in the market.
You give the burden of planning retirement, place it upon the shoulders of the person who knows the least. I think it was a disaster.
There's got to be a better way to try to save for retirement than using something where half your money can disappear almost overnight and there's nothing you can do about it.
And what's been happening over the last few years is, yes, our accounts have been growing. It looks like we're getting wealthier, but the income that we can get from that sum of money is shrinking.
Retirement is so much different, and the advisors need to shift to become income experts and retirement income experts and risk managers.
You have to figure out what are you going to get from Social Security and Medicare.
It's been estimated that Social Security will run out of money, not entirely, but it will run out of money such that benefits will have to be cut by 1/3 for everyone, current retirees, future retirees.
What is often underappreciated is that doing nothing and really politicizing the issue is a way of doing nothing will result in a massive cut to everybody's Social Security benefits.